get it all together. And hello, everyone, and welcome to Melbourne Unreal. I'm your host, Tony Jack the Bear Manson. We're coming to you from Deluxe Mastering here in Melbourne, Australia, the world's most livable city. And I'm so happy and excited that I've got my good old friend, Mr. Higo, in today.
Hello, mate.
G'day, mate. How are you?
Mate, I'm fantastic. Couldn't be happier.
So good to have you, mate. Higo was kind enough to have me on his podcast a couple of weeks back called Distortion, and which you should get onto because a lot of people are. How many subscribers you got? You got a fuck
15,000 odd, something like that.
So all the cool kids are there.
Yeah.
They're checking it out. He also writes your blog.
Yep.
That's all part of the podcast. Or
Yeah,
separate?
www.distortion.me.
www.distortion.me. Nice. So you can catch up with what Higo gets up to there. And so we did a podcast. We did his podcast, and it was the first time that we had met face to face. We'd only had very minimal contact, and we just got on like a fucking house on fire. And during the podcast, the batteries ran out, and we thought, fuck, we got to do another one. So we will do another one on Distortion. But I thought, you know what, fuck this, man. Come on my fucking podcast, and let's continue this because we were having such a good old time. So this is just continuation of discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you have anything in mind, any agenda at all, or just?
Nah, mate. We just fucking free flow that shit. I saw this thing today, which I really loved. It resonated with me. A Hunter S. Thompson quote, of which there are many. But he said, "I don't do goals, I do life," and I really like that.
Because he just lets it happen.
Yeah, man. Like it's goals. Like I think it's good to have goals and have an idea where you're going and all that. But sometimes you get. It doesn't allow you perhaps to, because we think life is linear and it's all straight lines because we go to school, university with,
Conditioned.
all that sort of stuff. And sometimes it's great to be focused, but I think sometimes if you get too blinkered on something, you may not, other things may pass you by that.
Absolutely.
You know, because you're just not being open to it.
I think we're all guilty of that, though.
Look, for sure.
If you are laser focused on something in particular. Yeah, like you said, you are aiming for a particular goal, and the thing is, the worst thing is, that might not actually be your goal. You think it is, but it might not be.
Yeah.
And geez, we're all guilty of that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
so.
how many times do you go through life and you're going in a certain direction? I mean, for example, growing up, I wanted to be a record producer, and that's all I really knew. And mastering kind of found me. I had no idea what the fuck it was, and I came across it. It was still within the whole musical thing, but again, unless I wasn't open to it, I wouldn't be doing this today. So and
it's one of those things, isn't it? It's funny how you think that you want to do one thing and you end up doing something else, but is even more rewarding than what you could have expected.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't know really that I wanted to do radio. In high school we had an amazing drama department, theatre studies, media, music. It was a great place to go.
This was what, 80s?
Yeah, it was in the 80s.
So during the 80s, it wasn't unless you went to a private school, because I'm assuming you went to a public school.
Public school, it was a tech.
There was a tech school. There really wasn't a lot of that going on, was there? I mean,
no.
Not that I knew of, but anyway.
No. So we had the most amazing teachers that would encourage you to do whatever you felt like doing. And so insofar as, every year, of course, we had our productions that everyone would get involved in. But they would just like go, there's the camera, write something, shoot it, edit it, do what you want to do. And then at some lunchtimes, we would have a radio station going out to the canteen area.
Cool.
So you just get on and play songs and talk crap. And
Yeah.
it's very, very loose and not at all... there was no rules, just don't swear, basically.
Yeah.
And the songs that you played couldn't have swearing in them. But I didn't know it at the time, but that was what was getting into me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until 25, I think I was, before I went, I might do radio.
So what was the catalyst? What got the ball rolling for you? Because you got a great personality for it. I mean, I'm obviously
and the perfect head for it.
Yeah,
as they always say.
Join the club.
I was made redundant from a job, and so I got a bit of a payout, and I thought, this is an opportunity to either go travelling, which I did a little bit of, and then this is an opportunity to actually stop and not have to worry about money for a few months and find out what it is that I wanted to do.
Yeah, nice place to be.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's such a fortunate position now. And I look back at it, and sometimes I think, if I had my time again, what would I do? Would I put that money into a house and find another job and blah, blah, blah? But I'm kind of glad that I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad that I went, you know what? There's a radio course. I'm going to go and do that. And that was it. And it was just one Saturday morning when you used to open the big broadsheet, The Age, and go piling through all the employment sections and circle ads and then ring them and then get told that the position is filled and you're overqualified or underqualified. And then it was just this thing. It just said Melbourne Radio School. And I thought, it was $1,000 course. And I thought, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'll go in there and I'll do the course. I'll get told that I'm no good. But at least I gave it a shot. And when I gave it a shot, I actually asked the teacher, who was Gary Mack, who was an amazing
Gary, he's a fucking legend, that guy. Absolute legend.
And has been all over Australia, of course, in radio and taught many, many people. But I just said to him straight up at the end of the course, I said, do you think that I have what it takes to make something of this? And he said, yeah, I think you do. And that's all it took. He could have been bullshitting, but he just said, yeah, I think you can. And he said, so you should pursue it.
Yeah.
Which was another way to get some more money out of me for a demo.
Yeah, of course.
And then, did the demo and sent it off, and then away you go.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's so good. It's no, he's a fucking legend, Gary Mack. He's helped a lot of people out there. And it's funny you mentioned before about how it just takes someone to say something that you look up to and you respect. How to a kid, and I think as a kid you kind of feel whether they're being authentic or not. But nonetheless, just to hear someone that you look up to validate you and say, you know what, you got what it takes, you got something going on here. It gives you that little bit of drive and helps you get over your own self-doubt, because we're always doubting ourselves about, can we do this, et cetera, et cetera. I'll tell you a very quick similar story. Carl Van Est. Remember, Carl, I attribute Carl Van Est as the guy that got me going. Before I went overseas, I saw him at the Palace one night before got burnt down. And of course, being a kid, I looked up to Carl, Captain of the kids, and I said, mate, my name's Tony. I think you're awesome, dude. And I'm thinking about, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I was in high school. I was finishing high school. I don't know what I want to do, man. Do I stay here because I want to be an engineer and a producer, or do I go overseas? He goes, go to America. Now he was blind, right? Absolutely blind. So he does remember the conversation, mate. But he just and to me, I was just like, that's it. And it was because of Captain Carl. I attribute Captain Carl for being responsible.
He set you on your course then?
Absolutely.
So he sent you over to the States.
Yep.
Where you started knocking on doors everywhere and becoming a bloody studio pest.
Yeah.
And then turned to this.
Yeah.
Which then turned into this here.
Exactly. He's the guy.
And also radio back here as well.
Exactly. Which was also great. We got that similar background. So tell me about your first radio gig, man. Run us through the Higo CV.
All right. So once I had that demo,
yeah,
I sent out 42 blind applications, and the way I went about it was I went to a cardboard box factory that made cardboard boxes for videotapes that you could send.
Yeah.
My brother is a sign writer, does vinyl signs and stuff. So I would get the scraps, and I would colour each side of the box a different colour.
Yeah.
Open the lid, and then my CV would pop out automatically with some writing and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, nice.
And there's my tape in the bottom.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't help, but I mean, if you got this bright coloured package, you just open it and go, well, I didn't know what this is.
Yeah.
So that led to the job in Lithgow, New South Wales, and I'd never even heard of Lithgow, let alone been there.
Do you know how I know Lithgow? Sorry to cut you. HG and Roy, the Lithgow Shamrocks. They're
right, they are. Or is it Betty Cuthbert that's from there, the Lithgow Flash?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so.
So they said, look, we'd like to meet you, and I said, okay, well, do I drive up? It's like 8.5 hour drive, and so I said to my parents at the time, I don't think I've got the money to go up there. And they said, well, if it's important to you, we'll give you the money to drive up. So I drove up there. The station was good enough to put me up for the night in the local pub, the Commercial Hotel, and had the meeting the next day, and then got in my car and drove home. And they rang me halfway home and said, we'd like to offer you a job as a copywriter, which is writing the ads and all the promos and things like that for a station.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was the foot in the door. And I just took the job straight away because I thought, once I'm in the door, they'll see what I'm capable of.
Exactly.
and I will prove to them that I'm worthy of being here.
Yeah.
And I probably, unbeknownst to them, they put me on, but I had, without a doubt, that job was a stepping stone. I had no aspiration of staying there longer than I needed to.
Yeah.
But, moved there and moved in with the guy who was doing breakfast at the time. And he had small man syndrome, so he was a bit of a weird cat, and moved out into another place. And so 9 months later, I was doing mid-dawns on the AM station.
Yeah.
And so, very badly, mind you, and doing the trucker shout-outs and stuff. And apparently the guy who ran Mix FM in Horsham was driving through and heard me, and then which led to him getting in contact saying, "We're looking for a drive person in Horsham. Are you interested?" And then that just keeps going, and that story continues, around the country in every different job. If you do a good enough job, people will take notice and people will offer you even more jobs.
Yeah.
I wish that was the case now.
Yeah. Oh, well,
But it's been a hell of an adventure since '99, that's for sure.
No, totally. So how do you keep yourself so right now you got your podcast?
Yep.
You write your blog?
Yep.
And so you manage a band?
I manage a band, To Kill a Mockingbird, who are a three-piece all-girl band out of Melbourne. And they've got their debut album coming out May 20th. The launch is at the Evelyn Hotel in Brunswick.
Yeah.
So, was it Fitzroy?
Fitzroy.
Fitzroy.
In Fitzroy. For,
So,
Melbourne Nights?
Yeah, we'd love for you to come along. But they've kept me very, very busy, and things have been progressing really well for the band. So that keeps me extraordinarily busy. But I'm writing for Tradie Magazine, and I've got a few different revenue streams coming in.
Yeah.
Selling cars as well. Come and see me for a better deal. So you've got to do what you've got to do in between gigs,
Yeah, most definitely.
It's a hard one because the girls are like in that transitional phase where they've gone from playing lots and lots of pub gigs, 102 gigs I think they did in 1 year.
That's right.
Which is a couple of gigs a week, which is what bands should be doing.
Yeah.
But now they've sort of gone on to getting better support gigs, building the audience, travelling around the country. Yeah. And so that's what I'm helping them with. Managing is a word I'm not really comfortable with. I think it's more of a facilitator.
Yeah.
And just trying to make sure that they don't become a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know of many, many bands who have gone down the wrong path for one reason or another.
Yeah.
And I just want to do the right thing by them and make sure that they, make the right decisions.
Yeah. Invariably, I think a lot of stories you hear about that kind of thing going on. I think a lot of people go in with good intention, and then it's when money comes into it. You'll get two songwriters who co-write a song, but one person only wrote one part of it, and then the song blows up, and then, oh, hang on a minute, I want 50-50. I've heard ridiculous situations of bands where they said, I wrote this many words in the verse, therefore I need to work it on a pro rata basis. It's fucked. That's the thing, mate. When money comes in, it's a problem. And this is why you need to put shit in fucking writing, man.
That is true. And to this day, there's nothing in writing between the band and myself because there's no money.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and all that will come, and there's an understanding there at the moment. But this is the thing, I'm not in it to make money because if you're in it to make money in music, you're in the wrong fucking game.
Yeah, that's for sure.
For a start. I just, I think they've got something that that has a future, and I think that they're worth getting behind. So if I can help them in any way, then that's what I'm going to do.
Go on, mate.
Yeah. And that goes for a lot of bands out there.
Yeah.
And that's the whole idea behind the Distortion. The radio show when it was on Triple M around the country was, getting Aussie music out there.
Yeah, mate, that's the thing. I think that, unfortunately, in Australia, I don't know how it works this way, but is it still 30% Australian content?
Yeah, 25 or 30%.
Yeah. So, but you could play Barnsley over and over and over and over.
Correct.
And that counts as 30%, right? Yeah, okay, so...
Well, it's one thing that Triple M's never really had a problem with because, fortunately, being a rock station, there's a lot. I mean, if you think about the 90s when there was a massive, and we spoke about this on my podcast as well, Regurgitator, Powderfinger, Living End, Grinspoon, Jebediah, all these great bands that still make up the Triple M playlist.
Yeah.
And then you add to your Barnsies and people like that.
Yeah.
So, Models and Goanna, Cold Chisel.
Conway, Deborah Conway.
Yeah, there's never a shortage.
I'll tell you what, if there's one song, there's probably a lot of songs I'd like to be a writer to, but purely for radio play royalty, it's only the beginning, Deborah Conway.
I knew it came into my head straight away. It's
dude,
only the beginning. Yeah.
That tune is, and I remember back in my day, man, that was for the 7.5 years I was there. it never left the fucking library, man.
Yeah.
It was just bread and butter.
Yeah. There's a lot of songs like that, unfortunately. Well, all fortunately.
Fortunately for the artist.
Yeah, there's a few that, you go, wow, really? Are we really persisting with this, huh?
Yeah. So,
But,
where do you see the state of radio today? Where do you think about digital radio? Do you think that digital radio will overtake, or do you think the internet, or do you think radio will, as a medium, will probably die over time because of streaming and the internet and the fact that people can source their own music and play what the fuck they want?
Well, I don't think terrestrial radio is ever going to die. I don't think it's ever going to be overtaken because it's the immediacy of it. It's funny, we have digital stations that are going at the moment, and I don't hear. I mean, there's a lot of people that listen to them, but there's a lot of people who kind of go, who are still fans of having that connection with. They can't pick up the phone and ring a digital station and talk to someone because there's no one there.
Yeah.
Not at the moment anyway. There will be eventually, but there's that immediacy that you don't. There's an accident on the freeway, whatever it might be. You listen to the radio, you'll get the update. Something's gone down like that, the Lint thing in Sydney, the hostage situation.
Yeah.
Bang! It's straight away. Any breaking news, you will get updated. Everyone just reaches for the radio straight away.
You don't think that with the internet, for example, as more and more digital stations come online and more cars will start, once we get to a stage where we reach this critical mass where most cars will have digital radio in them, that perhaps being, the technology will be as such where, for example, there'll still be an announcer on the air that'll be able to talk for that stuff. It's just, rather than being terrestrial, it's been...
Oh, it'll shift. I think eventually the digital, because the digital spectrum sounds so much better than analog ever will. Yeah. So that might change. Yeah. But I think as far as having announcers, having news, having, all that stuff, that will always remain. Having a number that you can call and request songs and speak to whoever's on air, I think that will always stay. The good thing about digital is because of the spectrum, it will just give us more choice.
Yeah.
But, you've got people like Southern Cross Stereo that has 7 or 8 digital stations at the moment, and which will only grow. Because it's not like you're playing with bandwidth where you've got 105.1, 2, 3, and you can't have them too close.
Yeah.
You can have as much as you want with Spectrum, and it costs nothing.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going to see a lot of competition. But at the moment, even, some new cars do have digital radios in it, and for some reason the rating numbers are still there, which is... It'll change, but I don't think it's going to change that much.
Well, I think once the new cars are digital radio, I reckon 10 years. I'll give it 10 years.
Yeah, I think we've still got a bit of time for us to leave. And by 10 years, digital radio's been around now for 7 years, 7, 8 years, I think.
Yeah.
So we've been really slow to adapt to it in Australia, I think.
Yeah.
Compared with overseas. And the biggest one, if we ever get satellite radio like they do in the States, that's going to be a difficult one because that's hard to compete against. But I don't know if you've been to the States where you've driven in a car with the satellite radio.
No.
It is ridiculous. You just can't choose. There's literally you'll go, okay, I want to listen to rock. Flick the rock button and there is 150 different types. And you could get down to, I want all my music in A sharp.
Right.
It's that specific.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And
so there's too much choice, and I think that's where people like that familiar sound. They'll always go back to what they know.
Yeah. I think also with what you're talking about, the specialisation is that you get this situation of, they say the variety is the enemy of efficiency, and it's like when I first saw an iPod player and I was told, you could have up to 10,000 songs on this. I'm thinking, how the fuck are you going to scroll through 10,000 songs? I remember a mate of mine was telling me he went on a boys' trip to Sydney and they drove in the car and they had an MP3 player, had all this on the hard drive in the car and shit. They reckon it probably took longer to preload the program they wanted to listen to on the way up than it took to fucking drive up there.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
But it's funny, you talk about the iPods when they came out. I think the first one I saw was I was living in Adelaide, working at Triple M there, and I thought the same thing. I thought, hey, who's got that much music? But all it takes is, if you've got 100 CDs and you've got, 10 songs on an album, just for argument's sake, it's 1,000 songs.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you look around this room in here, how many CDs do you reckon you've got in here?
Thousands.
Thousands. So all of a sudden those 10,000 songs
get multiplied by a factor of 10.
Just
and
gets chewed up.
yeah, most definitely.
But that's that was just like that was a whole new world. I came from, as you would have as well, Walkmans, and then a Discman,
Yep.
which were terrible. Let's face it, because even with the anti-skip, they were just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But and then to this little stick that you could put in 5,000 songs.
Crazy. I hate to think what it's going to be like in 5 years from now. Just where the
Probably
technology
just being planted in the side of your head.
Fuck, I hope not, dude. I don't want to. I don't want to succumb to that
Well,
shit.
all the wearables are happening, like the watches and the glasses, and that's all happening.
And virtual reality and shit like
Yeah.
that, all that kind of thing. That's going to be interesting times, man. But
it's pretty exciting.
I think so too. I mean, I'm not necessarily afraid of it. It's just that it happens exponentially so quick.
Yeah, it does.
And by the time you get onto something and you get a
you're out of date already.
You're completely out of date.
Yeah.
I mean, look at social media. I mean, today I've been one of my mates is busting my chops about Snapchat. And I've always been a late adopter to.
I'm not on Snapchat either.
Not yet either, but it looks like it may happen.
I only just got onto Tinder.
So yeah. So now I'm in a way my hand is kind of forced, and it's like my mate was explaining today. He said you got to go to Snapchat because that's where because I deal with a lot of young kids through my speaking and music and shit like that. It's a demographic. So so all the kids went on to MySpace.
Yep.
And then all the oldies got involved. So the cool said, "Fuck this, we're moving on." Facebook. Now I was old. Well, I'm an oldie. Oldie goes in there. Now all the kids are going to the fucking Snapchat.
Are they?
Yeah, that's where all the kids are going. So
You know what's happened? I've hit that next generation.
have you?
I've hit the next generation where I'm behind now. Because I was there for Facebook and MySpace.
Yeah.
I was actually I was hesitant to change from MySpace. A friend of mine said, "Oh, you got to get on Facebook. It's bloody brilliant." I reckon that was in 2005, maybe.
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, I've got MySpace. What do I need another social media platform for? Why do I need another social media platform?"
Yeah. That's
Because
what I thought.
MySpace was all there was.
Yeah. That's what I thought too with Facebook. I thought, oh fuck, I don't know. Do I really need an internet distraction? And
I held
yeah.
off on Twitter as well.
Yeah.
For probably 2 years.
Yeah.
After everyone else.
I think Twitter's died. Twitter's dead as far as
I'm all over it.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm all over it. I'm hopeless. That and Facebook. I'm just such an avid user. Addicted.
Well, Facebook I love because I found that it's just been really good as a marketing tool, and yeah, it's been great to. I've caught up with so many fucking people, dude, that I haven't
If
seen.
it wasn't for Facebook, we wouldn't have caught up.
That's true too.
No, we would have. We would have been on MySpace.
No, I don't know if I had a MySpace page. Maybe I did.
I think mine's still out there.
No, I did have a MySpace page, but I don't think I really exploited it as much as I probably should have. But
Search for Higo. See if you can find my MySpace page. I have no idea where it is.
fucking remember, was it Murdoch that bought it for some obscene amount of money years ago? Fuck.
Yeah, so that was at the end of the internet.
You wouldn't want to be in the fucking boardroom at the end of that one, hey?
Fuck.
Or
It's,
shareholders meeting.
companies were just getting bought left, right, centre. Google was buying everything because they didn't want to be left out and they wanted to know everything.
Yeah.
And so they would just pay whatever it took.
To sort of get them out of it. You know what? I don't know. You found one of the things I'm finding interesting now is this whole battle between Google and Facebook. I mean, I do my podcast and I put it on my YouTube channel. But Tom Larkin from Shehad, he said to me, "Dude, you should be putting this fucking shit up on Facebook as well." I said, "Oh, really?" So I got my, I'll just link it to the. And he said, "No, mate, no. Because you got to understand, that's Google territory. This is Facebook territory. Holden versus Ford, mate."
Yeah, they don't like the
Facebook,
YouTube links.
They don't like the YouTube links. So interestingly, so I went and had a look at the views on my YouTube, and there's not all that many. And then I put Tom's up on YouTube and on Facebook. Well, fucking within 24 hours we had over 1,200 views. Now I'm also aware though that a view on Facebook could also mean if you scroll past it, I think it also counts, or someone just clicks on it. So it's probably not as impressive as it sounds. But
I think because when you scroll past, if you've got it in autoplay, that might count.
Yeah. So okay. So you don't know how many legitimate long people actually sit on there. But still, when I compare the numbers between, because I put them both up, I put the YouTube up and I put the Facebook native up, and fuck me, dude, it was like 100, 200 to 1 difference in ratio. It's just crazy. So
Good experiment. I might try that myself.
So even if half of those fucking views were just brush throughs and absolutely nothing,
It's still traffic, isn't
it's still traffic.
Yeah.
It's still something. So right now it may not have taken over YouTube, but it's on its way. I think they're fucking they just want to just destroy them.
And all the algorithms that Facebook keep changing, and I remember being able to, especially for bands, that all made that jump from MySpace, where you didn't have these algorithms, and it's a great tool for bands, was MySpace.
Yeah. And what about I think Bandcamp's still pretty good. Is Bandcamp still?
Yeah,
good?
but it doesn't get it. I don't know. People don't push it as much. I don't know why. I mean, I seem to find new bands that all seem to have it, but I never see them pushing it, which is weird. Because maybe if you put the link to Bandcamp on your Facebook,
Yeah.
and it's just annoying because it's like, really, are they that worried about losing revenue? Well, they've got more money than anyone in the world.
Yeah, for sure. But I reckon it's just domination, man. I think it gets to a point where it's not about money. It's just it's like a big fucking chess game. Or
Yeah,
just
market ownership. That's it.
And it just becomes power and ego.
So what we
greed.
need is another competitor.
Yeah, man.
But you know what would happen if anyone started anything up to rival something like Facebook for a social media type platform? They'd just buy it. They'd say, here's $1 billion. Go away.
Yeah. Exactly.
And who in their right mind wouldn't take it? Even if it was $1 million, who wouldn't take it?
And I'm sure that if you didn't take it, they would be very fucking persuasive.
Oh, yeah, they would crush you somehow.
There would be some kind of arm twisting shenanigans going on, whether it's, more money or just a little gentle, whatever.
Yeah.
Because when
maybe I should turn my website into that then. just like if you're at a band and you want to share your music for nothing. You need a lot of bandwidth, don't you, and a lot of space.
You do. But, who knows? Someone might come along and fucking bankroll that shit, man.
Yeah, that is true.
There's a lot of people out there who love bands and love music, and they.
Is there I mean, I know Bandcamp is essentially that. But is there a website that sort of caters to, apart from them? Reverb Nation, I guess.
Reverb Nation. But I don't have any others myself, because I'm not involved. I'm not involved in marketing of music and bands and stuff like that. So
I mean, people are now learning that Spotify is just really just ripping artists off.
Well, you know what? I think artists have always been ripped off. Unfortunately, that's even with major labels and stuff too. I mean,
yeah, I guess you're right.
How many bands? Seriously, how many bands? You look at, we've got this proliferation of all these reunion tours, and why do you think they're doing them, man? Because all of a sudden, we're out of our contract, we have no more obligations, and now we can actually
the money will be ours.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's great to have been, on tour and coke and hookers and all that kind of shit, but you can't pay your bills with memories.
No.
And experiences.
No, well, it didn't. Black Sabbath is a great example of that. They got fucking screwed completely.
Yeah.
Lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably millions of dollars.
I'd say millions.
And their coke, what was their coke bloody bill? Was like 72 grand a year or something?
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Yeah, who would know?
Yeah. Did you see the boys when they came?
I did.
How was it?
It's good. Good. They down-tuned a lot, so Ozzy could sing a lot of the songs, which made them infinitely heavier.
Yeah.
You hear Iron Man that's already got that massive dissonance to it, and then tune it down a step.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
It's
Ozzy had his moments where you go, all right, he can't quite get that, but for the most part, he was just awesome.
Yeah, and I think people tend to be forgiving. I mean, I think people probably didn't give a fuck, because it was the last time I was ever going to see him.
Yep.
Bonafide, legendary fucking band. Changed the world in many respects,
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, if I was brutally honest, Ozzy was the weak point of the show.
Yeah.
And Iommi was just wailing. He was brilliant. Geezer was incredible, and I know someone's going to pick up on this, the drummer who drummed with them last time as well. Falutis, I think his last name was. Brilliant. So it was a hell of a show, and it's not to say that all of Ozzy's songs were, singing was bad, because it wasn't. And like you said, he just had to laugh or say, "Come on, let me hear you," or scream or whatever, and he had everyone in the palm of his hand, and it was so good. Rival Sons before them were excellent as well.
I haven't heard those guys.
Very cool. I think you'd like it if you like that El Colosso stuff and you like King of the North.
Yeah,
you'd like Rival Sons. Very old school sound.
El Colosso, they're a fucking awesome band.
They're amazing.
How fucking good are they? They're my favourite band.
Get on them, El Colosso.
El Colosso, guys. They're just mint.
They are fantastic.
Absolutely, man. It's good to see Rock. Rock is alive and well, man.
It certainly is. And I was just in a Triple M today and kind of hovering around the music department, and I noticed that Massive, who just released their new album, Destination Somewhere, another Melbourne rock band, the CD was sitting on the music director's desk, and I just sort of happened to sort of, oh, have you ever listened to this one yet, have you? You know, I said, oh, have you listened to Sinking Ship? That's the one that should be the single. And so next thing, the music director and I were just sort of listening to the album, and I'm sort of saying, that's a good one. You know, have you thought about this? And I'm sure they've made up their mind about what they're doing, but it probably doesn't hurt to have someone kind of going, well, have you considered this?
Yeah.
Just have another listen to it.
Yeah. And I think that's important, man, because sometimes in radio, in my experience anyway, well, Lee Simon, mind you, Lee Simon's pretty good. He was always pretty open to new things. But again, they're working to a format. They're trying to please their fucking sponsors and whatnot. But it's
what
good.
People need to understand too.
But
yeah.
it's good though. It's good to have someone like yourself who's got his finger on the pulse and nose to the wheel and is out there and going to gigs and seeing bands just to give a little bit of a heads up, you know, to sort of so that people know what's happening on street level, you know. And even though commercial radio isn't about necessarily breaking bands and new music, but again, just
it should be.
Well, I agree. I totally agree. Do you remember, mate? Do you remember that time when Hits FM came on the scene? Right, there's a bunch of fucking kids.
The community station.
The community station.
Yeah, yep.
Right, this bunch of kids came on the fucking scene, and it was exciting, man, because they just played all new shit. It was what the kids wanted to hear. And
they killed it. That was amazing.
And I remember like station, and they broke a lot of records that commercial radio took on. And they did the commercials a great favour because they did all the market research for them.
Yep.
To see how things are tracking. But it was exciting, man. Kids enthusiastic about music, getting new shit out there, and different stuff, because this is when, you know, rave culture, dance culture was really starting to take off.
Yeah.
And people, I think, thought that whole dance thing, electronic thing, EDM, whatever, was going to be just a passing fad. And look how fucking many years it's gone. And what?
Yeah, they helped launch it in Australia.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But it's, you know, but again, they did all the hard work, and I think they showed commercials like, hang on a minute, maybe we need to kind of think about this and be a little bit more open to it. But mate, this is the station that you know, they would, producers and young engineers and shit would come in with CDs to the station. Hey man, fucking check this out. You know, fresh fucking mix straight out of the fucking studio, man.
Yeah.
How fucking good's that?
It's amazing.
You know, that's what it's about. That's exciting, man. To hear. That's what I love about this job, is the fact that I get to hear shit that's so fresh, and for the most part will not be seen or heard. But could be months, sometimes a year. Before, you know, if at all, on air. But just to be able to hear new, fresh music, man. Fuck.
Yeah, there is something addictive about that.
You know,
because you're getting let in on a secret.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and people are very, you know, working with so many musicians, that people are super guarded about what they do.
Yeah.
It's their baby. So when they let you in and they say, and they ask you for your opinion, especially when they ask you for your, you've got such an obligation to not, I get really upset when I see album reviews that just tear people apart, you know. I get that maybe, and I've had my fair share, and I'm sure you've had your fair share, of albums that you go, it's not real good. But why just rip the shit out of someone? Why not look for the positives in it and go, hey, I see what you're trying to do. Maybe, you know, give this another shot. And I'd rather not publish a review if I don't think it's up to scratch. Yeah. Because what is me tearing them down going to do? It's going to make them feel shit house. It's going to make them question what they do, which is the complete opposite of what we should be doing.
100%.
And I know you are a huge advocate, and this is one of the reasons why we got together, because your video said, you are doing what you're supposed to do, keep doing it. If you're an artist, whatever art it is, that's what you're supposed to do, keep fucking doing it. How dare anyone tell you not to do it and say it's shit?
Absolutely.
You know, you might not like everything, and I'll go on the record, I don't like Coldplay, I think they're shit.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? That's just my opinion. That's a really brief way to say that I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's shit.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone says that kind of stuff about whatever.
And everyone's got an opinion. The funny thing about critics, and that is, I think it's hilarious that we actually have professional critics. That, you know, we got this one or group of people that almost are like gatekeepers and are almost shaping, you know, popular culture rather than let people actually find out for themselves. I guess they play a role, but again, I think if you're constructive, then it's fine. Because you know what, mate? As Rex Hunt said, they never erected a statue or built a monument to honour a critic. You know?
No, exactly right. But that just goes back to, like you said, about kicks or hits or whatever.
Hits, yeah. Kicks came on after.
After, that's right, yeah. Hits, because
And
there were no rules.
And funny enough, when Kick started, they were broadcasting 2 or 3 levels above Triple M in Burke Street.
Were they?
Yeah, mate. And I actually went on there, and I was working at Triple M, and I actually went on there and did a couple of little. And I said to Lee, can I just go on there because it's for fun? He said, yeah, fucking do your thing, man. It's all fine. So
That's great.
it was fun, man.
And there was no rules, and there was no, hey, they weren't saying you should listen. We're going to play this, make up your own mind. And Triple J to a certain degree does that as well.
Yeah.
They, for my opinion, I think they do have a sound.
Yep.
And they are catering, and we spoke about this on my podcast as well, where if you are trying to create a sound that because you think it'll get played on Triple J, you're already behind the ball.
Yeah.
Because it's going to shift.
It's going to shift, yeah. It's a moving target.
So, and that's the other reason why we shouldn't worry too much about what critics say.
Yeah, most definitely.
And a lot of people don't.
No. But having said that, I think I guess it depends on who it's coming from and how it's being delivered, because sometimes we can get so caught up in our own stuff and allow our own sense of ego get in the way. It's like, how dare you? But even sometimes people that come at you with piss and vinegar, even though their intent is to hurt you, sometimes there could be some seeds of truth in it.
Oh, absolutely.
If you've got enough awareness to kind of realise, hey, hang on a minute, let me try and be objective. And that's a hard thing to do, let's face it, especially if you're an artist, because fucking sensitive fucking people, man. They're more sensitive than most, you know? And it's no wonder, there's no wonder that, in the music community, artistic community, or certainly music, we've got a higher level of mental illness.
Yeah.
They say the community, the mainstream community is one in 5, I think they say, are affected by mental illness, and in our community, it's 1 in 3. 1 in fucking 3, and
so the suicide rate is higher again as well.
Yeah, and yet it's high. It's much higher than the road toll. Yet they're spending more money on the road toll, and I'm not saying that the road toll is not important, but they're actually cutting spending on mental health promotions, campaigns, and stuff like that. There's fuck all or very little awareness of this in our community. I mean, I know myself, mate. And it's well documented. Extreme anxiety for most of my fucking life, and most people wouldn't have known it, but I just tremendous amount of anxiety, and I'm pleased to say that I'm well and truly all over that. And you, my friend, wrote a fucking awesome blog about your journey through it all, which, mad respect to you, bro, because, despite the fact that we have more awareness and more understanding around it, because, again, it's an intangible, you look at a person and I've got a broken arm, I can see a cast, or stitches or fucking whatever.
Yep.
And yet with mental illness, it's the unseen thing. And despite that, but there still seems to be a bit of a stigma because there's a lack of understanding. And so it's great that guys like you, mate, would fucking come out, you write about it, you share your fucking story, and the more people... And another great advocate, Phil Knight, big shout out to Phil Knight, fucking Phil Knight plays in Shehad. He does a podcast called What is Phil Worried About Today? And he comes on and he does a little 1 minute or little 60, 90-second thing, and it's honest and it's raw and he's vulnerable. But as you said before, man, it's funny how more and more people talk about personal issues, about life, whatever, how more and more people just go, fucking hell, him as well. And it affects more people than we care to know or care to think about.
Yeah, when I wrote the original story a couple of years ago now, for the Triple M website, it was straight after Robin Williams' death, and I hadn't spoken about it. My boss knew, what I was going through, but I just, for some reason, felt that was the right time to share, because it was, I don't know, I loved Robin Williams' work. Maybe I was affected by it more than I thought, because seemingly there's a bloke who super funny and always animated and always up, and that's often the case. Those who are most extroverted are the ones who are hurting the most.
Yeah.
But it was so left field. I didn't expect it, and I just really touched me, and I thought, fuck this. We've got to talk about this. This is an issue that blokes just don't talk about. And I said, bugger it, I'm going to lay it out there. And the boss said to me, just be aware. He goes, it's really good, but just be aware that there might be backlash. People might say whatever. And I went, I was ready for it, and maybe 5 months earlier I wouldn't have been ready for that, but I was ready for it, and didn't get one negative comment back about it.
I'm not surprised.
It was all flat out positive. Guys, even a year and a half later, said that story changed my life. I went and spoke to someone. Now I'm on the way to, and that's all it means. If it's one person, and I know that's why you do a lot of your speaking, because if it just get through to one person, then that's worth it.
Absolutely.
It's worth it. And
Absolutely.
that's something that we need to talk about more. I think still, it's such a stigma. And you mentioned the road toll thing. What is it? An arbitrary number. Let's
400.
say 400 deaths a year on the road. Over 6,000 suicides a year.
Yeah, and young men between 18, I think 18, 25, I think, and out in regional Australia. And yeah, it's a fucking travesty, man. It really is, to think that, kids at the prime of their life, fuck, what would drive a kid to want to top himself, man? I mean, I know I've thought of it before, and I made one fucking unsuccessful attempt. It was a very piss poor attempt, mind you, because deep down I knew I didn't really want to do it, but it was more. But fuck, man, what would it? I
That
just,
tipping point.
I just can't.
Yeah.
They say, oh, they're a fucking coward, they're a fucking weak cunt. Really?
I admit, before, way back in the day, I reckon that I used to see suicide as a selfish thing because of the people you leave behind and blah, blah, blah. But this is before that I had a full understanding from personal experience about what depression and things are like. And then I got to understand that it's not about selfishness. It's not about trying to hurt anyone else. It's because you can't cope, because you can't see another way out, because you are so far down that you cannot even see the point in going on anymore. It's frightening. It seems like it's the only solution, and it's a fucking awful place to be. It is so, and I say that now looking back at it, because I'm so far removed from it.
Yeah.
But having lost a very dear friend to it, a little while ago now, and I just think he was in that space and none of us knew it.
Yeah.
And that breaks my heart.
And that's very common. People will say. I mean, I've known a couple of people, but I can't say anyone super duper close to me. But often you hear the case after the fact. It's like, and people carry all this fucking guilt about.
Yeah.
I should have known. He was my best mate.
Of
He was
course.
my best. How could I not fucking realise?
Yeah. Because no one talks about it.
No.
Because especially guys, no one fucking talks about it. It's crazy.
Guys just don't fucking talk, man. We're again.
No, and maybe that's why we've clicked, because I have no problem in becoming vulnerable.
Yeah.
Anymore.
But that takes. I think that also, as you get older, same thing with me, man. I think the last 6 months of my life have been the most biggest and transformative of my fucking life, and I'm so grateful that I've had them, and this is why I want to share. And I think it's important because guys like you and I, we have a profile in the industry. We are known. We're not necessarily fucking legends or, but we're known. We do have a profile. We're not outsiders to the game, and there are people that know us and they do look up to us. They do, and I think there's a great sense of responsibility there. And I think when I get an email, as I'm sure you do, from some random kid, they look up to you in a certain way, which is beautiful, but then they realise, you're fucking human. You're no different to them.
I met a guy like that on Friday night. Tequila had a show at the Grand in Mornington. And it was after the show. Everyone was sort of going home. A few people were lining up to get stuff signed by Thirsty Merc. And this guy sort of just came over and he said, I'm a really big fan, which, I'm like, a fan of what?
Yeah.
Talking on the radio.
Yeah.
But, he was a genuine fan. And to me, that's completely foreign. I never really understand that with radio. And I kind of do, because, I remember listening to Triple M when Stubbsy, the breakfast show, was on, with Brad McKenzie and Bridget DeClough and, Eddie. And I went to see them do an outside broadcast. And I stood there like, mouth agape and watching radio happen. And so I get that. But it's because when you're in the system for so long, you completely lose sight of what it's like to actually listen to the radio and not know how it works. But this kid, he was just so excited, and it made my night, to be perfectly honest. It was already a great gig, but this kid coming up going, I really love what you do, and especially, they mentioned Distortion, and I found this band through you, and it sucks that you're not there, and blah, 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 and he was really complimentary, and so I just stood there talking to him for 10, 15 minutes, and I said, I had to actually say, I'm really sorry. I had to go and pack up.
Yeah, yeah.
And we had to get out of there.
As a good manager does.
Well, yeah. As good as that was for my ego at the time, it was like, and I haven't been on full-time radio for over a year, and I still get people sort of coming up and saying,
people still know you, man. I mean, it's like, again, it's when your name comes up, it's, oh, here you go from Triple M. Irrespective of the fact that you've been off for a year, but but you're still known as that dude. It's amazing.
Clutching, as a friend of mine would say. Clutching at it at the moment, doing casual stuff, but it's all right.
Yeah, casual stuff's good, man. I did it for 7.5 years. Yeah, I remember when Lee Simon gave my first gig, he gave me a 2-week fill-in that went for 7.5 years. It was great. But I remember I was always going, Lee, fuck, come on, dude. I come to every shift. I do everything you fucking ask. Blah 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 blah. But I wanna. When are you gonna give me a full-time gig? And here I am watching all these fucking kids coming through, getting mid-dawns, and then getting overlooked for other, and I'm still fucking, And it took about 3 years before I got my Saturday night slot. But Lee did me a great fucking. He did me. I love it. He did me a great fucking service though, because at the time he knew I was trying to build my mastering business, and he said to me, listen, man. I'll always have your back. I know you're reliable. I appreciate you. I know I'll always have work for you. He said, because mate, if I put you in the system as a as a full-time jock as opposed to a casual guy, I'll get a call from Gracie next week saying that Jack the Bear guy fucking send him out to fucking Albury, and my hands are tied. He goes, but I want you here, and I want you to build your business because that's where your future is. And he did me a great service. So, Lee, I love you, man. Thank you.
He's a bloody legend.
He is an absolute fucking legend. I mean, he was a great influence on me growing up.
And me. It was
fucking remember Night Move? Do you remember Night Move?
I remember Night Moves.
And it was him and Jack Degenkamp, the fucking cameraman, and Lee. Now whether he was stoned or not, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate.
Probably.
But he looked like he was off chops, and he was just this cool dude with the long hair playing cool fucking music. It was really progressive stuff back then.
But even listening to Lee as a kid, and then when I started in radio, my ambition was, and my friends couldn't believe that I was moving to Lithgow to start in radio. So foreign to them, because no one I knew worked in radio. Yeah. And they said, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to work at Fox. Because I grew up listening to Casey Kasem on Sunday nights. And the reason is I had this old clock radio with the numbers on the clock, the old flip over ones.
Yep.
So, and it was stuck. The tuner was stuck to 101.9.
Oh.
And so Sunday nights, though, it was all about Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
And back then, Fox used to play rock music as well.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to play at Fox. That's what I want to do. I want to work at Fox. Did my stint around the country and got a job at Fox. Yeah. And lucky my mum was still alive to see that happen. She knew that was an ambition. So working at Fox, and Lee was at Triple M, I couldn't believe I was in the same fucking building as Lee Simon.
Yeah.
It was just like... And we'd have these, when the ratings would come out, and everyone would go to the one place, and I'd see Lee, and I go, it's Lee Simon. And I'm working in the same building as an announcer, still looking at him going, it's Lee Simon.
Dude, I was like that when I first met him. It was like...
Oh, there was one meeting where, and I was doing particularly well in afternoons on Fox, and I don't know, I might have gone number 1 FM or something like that in afternoons. And, they were talking it up. And Lee looks at me, he's standing right next to me, and he goes, oh, you want to come and work down with us? We need those kind of numbers. And I'm like, shit, I'm getting praise from Lee.
Yeah.
And he probably doesn't know all this stuff. But
oh, no. Maybe not.
I looked up to him. I still look up to him.
He's a legend. I mean,
he's Lee Simon.
He has survived every fucking takeover that's happened. I mean, he was there. I mean, he's OG. He's legit fucking OG.
I think he's been there 30-something years.
Yeah. And fucking now he's director of football, Triple M.
Still does an hour every day.
He managed to fucking reinvent him. When all that big shit takeover happened and Triple M were about to go into football, he just reinvented himself, man. And look at him, he's still fucking killing it.
Oh, I love going to talk to him too.
Yeah, man.
And the stories he's got are just so cool. And yeah, I've got a lot of love for him.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. A few other stories I've got, but I'll do them off camera.
There's not a lot that you can actually replay.
No. He's a fucking beautiful man. I've got a lot of time for him. So so we're going to do another one. We'll do Distortion Part 2 soon.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Fucking, I love hanging out with you, dude.
Yeah, it's good fun.
You're just the most awesome fucking hang.
Yeah, it's pretty easy, isn't it?
Fuck yeah, man. That's what it's supposed to be. I mean, that's the great thing about this podcast, man. It's still developing, and hence the mastering music, mastering life is like just hanging out with music dudes, industry dudes. We talk a bit about life, a bit about music, and just whatever.
We play some music.
Again, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's not even what the camera's on. It's just this is the way we shit talk. Just but they're the best conversations, and they're the most interesting ones. If you know, even if you're a fly on the wall just listening in.
Yeah. Well, hopefully people aren't too, bored by it.
Nah, well, we don't.
Fuck 'em.
Well, at the end of the day,
If you're still watching now and you think this is crap, fuck off. Is my hair okay?
yeah. Where's my best side?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I don't have a good side. It's all kind of the one shape, so it's all good. It's fine.
oh, that's great, man. All right, buddy. We'll wind it up here because we'll have to get out of here. But
Yeah, your better half is gonna.
Split me in half.
Yeah.
So we're definitely soon back on Distortion
Absolutely.
for part 2.
Yeah.
Because we'll finish it, and mate, we'll get you back here again real soon because it's just been a fucking pleasure, dude. I fucking love you, Dave. You're fucking awesome. You're fucking great. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Fucking
legend.
It was really good, man. Thank you so much. Anyway, all right then. That wraps it up. Thank you very much for watching us, and we're out of here. And I'll leave you as I always say. Please be nice to each other, but more importantly, be nice to yourselves. I love you, fuckers. See you later, guys.
See ya.